everyone again. Thought I'd do a short video on the generation, comparing the Generation 1 and the Generation 5 Bakial Makarov pistols. So on the right hand side we have the Generation 1, and on the left hand side we have the Generation 5. So why am I doing this? Okay, as an owner of both pistols, okay, I've had an opportunity to shoot them, play around with them, break them in, rack them back and forth. You know, when you're sitting down watching a movie and you're just racking it back and forth, breaking it in. You guys who own these know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so anyway, after a while, you know, I've come to the conclusion that this collector believes that the Generation 5 is the better made of the two. Now, I know that's going to raise a lot of eyebrows because the Generation 1 is widely regarded as the best built of all the generations. And this run started in about 1997. Mine is, you know, I can't confirm that, but I think they started in 1997, and some of these might be stamped 97, but mine is marked 1998. Okay, I'm very lucky to own that. Anything marked 98, 99 is going to be a Generation 1. And here we have the Generation 5, which is marked 2013. Again, very lucky to own. Okay, so as you can see, I broke down the pistol. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick experiment, which I think you guys are going to find interesting and fun. And we're going to find out which one is the more robust, heavier pistol. Okay, so we'll weigh out the parts one by one. First, we're going to weigh the Generation 1 frame. Okay, that's without the spring, the magazine, and the slide. That comes in at 328. Now we're going to weigh the Generation 5 frame. $327. Okay, that's interesting. They're almost exactly the same, yet the Generation 1 has a lot more metal to it, because you could see that the magazine area is framed out at the bottom and the Generation 5 is not. The bottom of the Generation 5 was redesigned a little bit to accommodate the slimmer magazine. So even though this has more metal to it, it still came in, you know, pretty much exactly the same weight. It's interesting. Okay, let's weigh the slides. Okay, that comes in at 234 grams for the Generation 1. And the Generation 5, 248. Significant difference. 248, 249. Significant difference for the Generation 5. Okay, let's weigh the spring. Spring for the 5 comes in at 9. Oh, sorry. Make that 10. Okay. Spring for the Generation 1. It's pretty much the same. It's fluctuating for some reason between 9 and 11, so I'll go with 10 as well. So the springs are about the same. Okay, the magazines. Well, naturally the Generation 1 is going to have an edge there, because the Generation 1 has a much thicker magazine as compared to the Generation 5, which is much slimmer. So there's not going to be any surprises here. That comes in at an even 150 for the Generation 1. Okay. And for the Generation 5, comes in at 110. So a significant difference. Okay, so the slides, the Generation 5 has a clear edge. Okay, it's heavier, and I'll show you a close-up of the slides. I mean, look, the bottom line is that they're both very well made. You know, it's very, very good to see that Russia did not give away their manufacturing to China.
Если к этому награда будет нам присуждена. Мы не скажем нет, не надо. Мы ответим, что нужна.
And you can see they're pretty much identical on the inside. You know, if you look on the Generation 1, you could see that like there's a little hole there. It's kind of like drilled out, and the Generation 5 doesn't have that for some odd reason. I don't know why, what the difference is, but it's a slight difference to the firing pin. But Generation 5, it feels heavier. It looks a little thicker. If you look at the edge, you know, the edge looks like it has a little more metal to it. Look at the edges. It's thicker, okay? And let's not forget, the Generation 5 has the ejector cutout. Now, it's interesting to note that from Generations 1 through 4, there are no ejector cutouts for any of the slides. The only generation that has the ejector cutout is the Generation 5. Okay? And it is the heaviest slide out of all the generations. The frames, the two frames weigh out the same. And with the Generation 5, you get the authentic Bakelite grips. Okay, now these aren't brand new shiny things off a factory floor when you get them. When you receive a Generation 5, you're going to see nicks, mars, little scratches on the Bakelite grip because, well, clearly, as you guys, some of you smarter guys have already used your deductive reasoning and figured out that these probably came off decommissioned firearms and were recycled for the CO2 versions. So that's pretty damn cool if you ask me. Okay. What else could I go over here? That's pretty much it. Oh, you know what? I have a Generation 4 right here. You know what? Just for shits and giggles, let's weigh the let's take out. I have a Generation 4 here. You can see I have a nice set of Bakelite grips with that. That is beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful gun. Okay, let's take the clip out and let's weigh the slide. You know, the one that has the least quality, you know, of all of them. Wow. 196. Okay, so the slide, if you look at the slide comparisons right there, I mean, that tells the story. You got 234 for the Generation 1, 248 for the Generation 5, and 196 for the Generation 4. Okay? I'm not going to strip down the Generation 4. It just doesn't make any sense. But you guys get the idea. And again, you know, there's no cutout, you know, for the ejector. So, you know, I mean, you know, guys, as I said in my other video, I'm not an expert on these pistols. By no means. I'm a collector. And, you know, looking at these generations, I have to come to the conclusion that the slides without the ejectors were made in the Bakial factory for the purpose of being a CO2 gun. That's why it doesn't have an ejector. However, the Generation 5 slide has the ejector for another reason. So, I'll let you guys draw your own conclusions to that. Okay? And it's this collector's opinion that if you're looking for the heavier gun, the better made gun, the gun that is more realistic to an actual firearm, I think you're better off with the Generation 5. But that's just my opinion. Now, the Generation 1 is still always going to be the most sought after of all the generations because it is the first one that came out. It was the first one that was available to the public, and they are the most scarce. I mean, they're almost impossible to find. I mean, I was lucky to find this. I mean, if you're really into them, and you know, you really want to get one, seek and ye shall find. I mean, you know, you have to go out there and do your legwork. They're out there, but you just have to find them, and of course, you have to be willing to pay for it, because on the secondhand market, they do go for a lot more money. And you know, if you have the money to pay for it, you can get one. They can be had, but you just have to look hard. And that's it. So anyway, all of them very well made pistols. All of them benefit from Russian superior manufacturing. And like I said, it's nice to see that Russia has not given away their manufacturing to China, and it shows, because they still make some very, very good stuff. They make great optics too. I don't know if you guys are into optics, telescopes, binoculars, but they make some very, very good telescopes too. Care? Oh, you know what? Let's weigh the instruction manuals. Okay, this is the Generation 1. Okay, that comes in at 13 grams. And the Generation 5, 13 grams. So the Generation 5 doesn't have an edge there. Okay. Alright, stay tuned. Don't go away, because a new publication came out about the Makarov pistols, and I'd like to show it to you real quickly. So don't go away. A new publication was just released about the Makarov pistol, and the CO2 gun for that matter, and it's written by Henry C. Brown and Cameron S. White, and the first edition will cover Makarovs made in the Soviet Union and East Germany. And this is going to be a book that has been a long time coming, because you know, there's been really a lack of information or books out there about these Makarov pistols, and it's sure to be an abundance of information for any collector of the real pistol or the CO2 gun. Oh, look at that. I want one of those, that's for sure. Anyway, yeah, if you're a Makarov collector, you know what that is. Be sure to pick up your copy of the Makarov pistol, first edition, the Soviet Union and East Germany, written by Henry C. Brown and Cameron S. White. Okay, and that should do it. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments or questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Ciao.